Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Hope you are all doing well. Today we will talk about the performance reviews. As a manager, you are responsible for the project deliverables, and at the same time you are responsible for your team's performance. Whether you like it or not, you need to conduct the performance reviews with your team members to explain them, to tell them on how they are doing with respect to the set goals and how they are doing in terms of the behaviors. So let us look at what kind of parameters we need to consider while giving the performance reviews, feedbacks. Some managers, they want to give the feedback completely based on the objective reviews, based on the facts. And some people tend to give the feedback based on some kind of opinion, some kind of bias. Remember, the performance review, the feedback, is a combination of art and science. While you may want to provide the feedback or objective feedback, it may not be possible to give 100% objective feedback. Some kind of subjectivity needs to be involved. Similarly, whether you focus only on whether your team member has achieved the objectives or not, or you want to focus on the demonstrated behaviors of your team member at workplace. Remember, it may be possible to meet the objectives, achieve the goals by hook or crook. So it is important that while measuring the achievements, while tracking the achievements against the set objectives, you also need to understand how the team member has demonstrated the behaviors, whether that person is cooperating with others or not, whether that person is a good team player or not, whether that person is able to take everybody along with him or not, or simply that person says this is my way or a highway kind of thing, and whether the person puts others under the bus. You need to consider all those behaviors as well. Similarly, many organizations may have a very formal performance reviews at the end of the year. We call it the annual review. But nowadays, many organizations are going away from the annual reviews and they are encouraging the continuous performance reviews. So what are you doing in your organization? Are you giving the continuous feedback, or you are just waiting for the end of the year to provide the feedback? So let us look at some of the tips for conducting effective performance reviews. First of all, you need to align the goals with your team members. Beginning of year or beginning of a performance period, whether it is quarterly or half yearly or yearly, whatever it is, you need to first align the goals and get the buy-in with your team members. individually. And when you provide the feedback, you need to consider both results as well as behaviors. Whether a person has met the objectives given to him or her, and in that process of meeting the objectives, how the person has behaved. You need to set the expectations right in the beginning. Means you need to explain them what is counted to call somebody as a below average performer or an average performer or high performer. What kind of behaviors count for it? What kind of results you consider for calling or grading somebody as a below average or high performer? Sometimes you may have some kind of bias towards some people. So you need to avoid that subjective bias. How can you do that? You need to get the 360-degree feedback on that particular person from all other team members. Similarly, you need to get the 360-degree feedback for every team member from others, so that you know exactly how this person is behaving in front of you, how this person is behaving in your absence, how this person is behaving with his peers, with his colleagues, with his cross-functional teams, so that you can measure his performance along with the behaviors. And avoid recency bias. Many times we see this. If something happened in the recent past, we give more weightage to that particular achievement or that particular failure. But you should not do that. You should consider the overall performance in that particular period, whether it is a quarterly or it's a half yearly, whatever it is. But don't consider just a one-off incident or a one-off achievement, and don't give more weightage to that particular thing. And similarly, avoid proximity bias. Nowadays, most of the organizations are adopting hybrid working model or remote working model. And many managers have this bias where when they interact with other people in person in the office, they tend to give more or better performance rating to those people than the people who are working remotely. But that is not the correct way. When you allow a person to work in a hybrid model or remote model, you should never consider that as part of your performance review. You should consider how the person is behaving and whether the person has met the objectives or not. And provide continuous feedback. As I mentioned, many organizations are moving away from the annual reviews. So provide continuous feedback on both performance as well as behaviors. And we discussed about it, how to give the feedback using the feed-forward approach. You need to consider 3 elements. What you have observed and what is the impact of that particular behavior or that particular result, and how to move forward to improve it, or how to move forward continuing the good performance. You need to include these 3 elements whenever you give the feedback. And last but not the least, consider your team members' expectations and emotions while conducting the performance review meeting. Remember, you are not dealing with a machine, you are dealing with a people. People have emotions. So consider that. And one thing you need to understand is the feedback should not be a surprise to the person. So provide continuous feedback so that people do not get surprised and they try to improve, and support them in their career by providing continuous feedback in an appropriate manner. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Until then, please take care. Bye bye.